Welcome back to the program. Analysts at Ecobank Capital say that non-performing loans in Nigeria's banking sector are set to rise. In a report released today by Ecobank Research, the ratio of non-performing loans to total loans is set to rise to 10% over the medium term from 4.7% as of June 2015. They are attributing this to a surge in upstream risks as a direct result of the current low oil prices, which they project to persist for the better part of 2016. The analysts say that despite the restructuring of upstream oil and gas portfolio in 2015, significant risks still lurk in the background. George Bodo is the head of banking research at Ecobank Capital. He joins us now from Nairobi, Kenya, to discuss the issues raised in this report. George, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Bolaji.
Now, tell us more about your findings in your report.
Sorry, sector again, Bolaji.
Can you tell us your findings, apart from the fact that we're looking at non-performing loans to rise to 10% of the total loan portfolio of Nigerian banks? Tell us more about what is in your report.
Okay, so basically, Bolaji, we are concerned about the current outstanding upstream loan that the commercial banks made primarily to indigenous onshore producers. And our concern is centered around two factors. One is that despite the restructuring that happened, especially in the first half of 2015, and the structuring was by way of lengthening the maturity profile of the outstanding upstream loans, especially the reserve-based loans, and lengthening the maturity profile so that the borrowers can be able to afford the repayment structures. Now, number two is that the restructuring also exposes banks to significant repricing risk, especially on the foreign currency side, because a significant portion of these outstanding upstream loans were issued in dollars. And the cost of funding for dollars between 2015 and now has remained elevated compared to the Naira funding base, which has really remained ultra low. So this is why we think that we are getting more concerned about loan performance level in the Nigerian banking sector.
Okay, your report, of course, obviously states about that non-performing loans will rise to 10%. But do you foresee a problem or a challenge in repaying these loans in the medium to long term, thereby reducing the risks attached to them?
No, essentially what we are saying is that there are significant risks that are tied to the repayment of these loans. And the risks come from the fact that, number one, is the current crude price level is very, very, very close to our projected break-even price for Nigerian onshore producers. Now, what happens is that it puts significant strain on the cash flow position of some of these borrowers. We project that the break-even price for onshore producers is probably around $30, $35. This is very close to our projected average crude price of $41. So this is going to put significant pressure on the cash flow position of some of these borrowers, and thereby compromising their repayment capabilities for some of these loans. So essentially that's what you're saying. And this is despite the fact that the existing maturities were stretched.
Okay, hello, George, can you still hear me? All right, we've lost touch with George Bodo there. He's the head of banking research at Ecobank Capital in Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya, talking about the non-performing loans of Nigerian banks, which is rise to 10% of the total loan book of the industry. All right, let's move on now as we take a look at what's going on in South Africa as the country's headline consumer inflation quickened more than expected to 6.2% year-on-year in January compared to 5.2% in December. Data from the Statistics Office show that on the month-on-month basis, prices rose 0.8% compared with an increase of 0.3% in the previous month. Core inflation, which excludes the prices of food, non-alcoholic beverages, petrol and energy, edged up to 5.6% year-on-year in January from 5.2% in December, while also rising 0.7% on the month-on-month basis. The consensus, rather, for January headline CPI was 5.93%. And mining group Anglo American has revealed plans to sell its iron ore, coal and nickel units as part of a sweeping strategic overhaul to cope with a commodities rout that has triggered a fight for survival even among heavyweights miners. The global mining group plans to concentrate on its De Beers diamond business as well as platinum and copper assets. Anglo wants to raise as much as $4 billion from the sale of assets in 2016 to cut net debt to under $10 billion by the end of the year. The global commodity rout has forced Anglo and rivals to sell assets and cut dividends and capital spending to preserve cash and reduce debt. Now, ratings agency Moody's had downgraded Anglo further into junk. That's the junk territory, citing expected lower commodity prices. And that'll be all on Business Incorporated. Many thanks for taking out time to watch the program. We hope to see you again same time tomorrow. I am Bolaji Akinwale. Bye for now.